Right, both my rotors are done. I was just going to show you this cover, this back cover. This is the outside cover. The inside is where the actuation takes place on the coils. And basically the cover just prevents anything from coming out. And the idea is to put some tape around to hold the two halves together. But yeah, I've actually loosened this already because it is very tight, and that's what it wants to be. It needs to be tight. So I'm just prizing it off because it keys into the center point as well. So get this loose. I'm trying to do this with one hand. It's not easy. There's no magnets in the back cover. It's just to prevent anything from flying out, really. Basically. Come on. I've got all day. I can't do this with one hand. It's so difficult. I thought, well, shall I film this? I'm thinking, this is going to be tricky to do with one hand, but yeah. Okay. This is, I want you to see how tight it is, because it needs to be tight. Right, there we go. So the cover comes off, and I've stuck this outer rim. I actually marked it on my SketchUp file as a constraining ring. Well, I decided I didn't want to print this attached to this disc because of slight offset problems with the printer, you know, not being perfectly round. I thought what I'll do is I'll just print it separately and then stick it on later. That way I can center it properly, which has worked out really well. So I used some acetone to bond the two pieces together, and it's worked out. And then there's the center piece there, which basically couples up with this plastic ring that's in the middle, and that centers it, because that was already centered anyway from the previous rotor, because I used some plastic rotors I used from the previous build, which were acrylic. I've still got some left, actually. Still got some of the acrylic ones left over, and so I made use of that. And because the holes were already in perfect orientation, it's helped as a guide, really, to help keep everything balanced. So yeah, both rotors are the same. I've already lined them up. I've got the keyway fitted. So there's a female keyway on this side. On this one there's a male keyway. So when I put all my spaces that go between them on, you'll see that these keep both the rotors in synchronization. These actual coupling connectors won't take any stress, really. I mean, all they're going to do is keep the rotors in synchronization with each other, so that they're in step. Basically, sort of the fields are basically north on one side and south above it, so they don't get out of the timing doesn't get out of alignment. That's all that's for, really. And yeah, and they are very difficult to put back together. They have to squeeze them with both hands. So I don't know if I can do that while I'll probably have to put my phone up on something. Hang on. I'll see if this will work. Right, were we there? Right, so I'm trying to look, see. Right, okay, so about here. So basically, I put them on like this, and I just twist and toe. They feel at the easiest point where they'll go together. They seem to want to snap in there, and then it's just going around, squeezing them together like this. And they're together, and bang the middle in, solid as a rock, one solid piece of rotor. And the next step is to put some tape around just to stop anything from working its way loose over time, and yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, obviously I could make a ring that goes around there, but that's going to create even more wind drag. And I'm trying to minimize wind drag. That's the reason why it's smooth on there. It's a smooth surface, and actually putting these holes on the inside was probably not a good idea, because it's going to create a little bit more drag. But the other one doesn't have them on. This was the last one I did, so it helps you to distinguish which one which one's which. And what I did a funny thing a while ago, I thought, oh, I'll weigh them both and see if they both weigh the same, because they should weigh the same. So then I realised this one's lighter, and I thought, what the hell's wrong? Why is this one lighter than that one? It's about 40 grams difference. I realised, duh, it's because of the holes. So that's the reason for that. Anyway, no big deal. Doesn't matter that one's lighter than the other. But it's a good thing to have, is to have some little holes there. But you know, if I needed to balance them out, I could put some extra stuff in there, you know, to balance them out. But obviously the other one doesn't have the hole, so I'd have to rethink that one on there, unless I drilled holes on that one. But bringing them to these two halves together is probably not a good idea, because it will smash into each other, and yeah, I'll have a job getting them apart again. There's some pretty strong neodymium magnets in there. So, but when I line them up, I basically put the coupling rods. I put some of these coupling rods. I've got my drill, which is here. I stuck my drill through like this, right? And once I got my drill all the way through, it's a nice tight fit. I put a couple of these coupling rods on like this, which keep them in sync. And once that was done, obviously the drill was coming out. Well, the drill comes out to the other one. Then I brought them together, and because they can't come together because of the spacer thing, it lines them up, and then I set these pieces in place with some ABS and acetone slurry, or I stuck them on there. They were loose for a while. Then, as I brought them together, they couldn't crash because of the concentrics, and they found their own. They basically find their own point, center point, because of the flux. So that actually is it's found its own center point. So there, those lines should line up. Actually, not those two lines. These two lines here. So I marked it as A1. A1 means alignment 1 on both of those. So that way, and the other were synced up properly. That's what's going to happen when I put them on the rotor shaft, proper rotor shaft. So that worked. Yeah. So yeah, pulling them apart won't be so difficult because of the space in the middle. It stops them from coming together, but there's going to be 5 spaces between them actually when it's all done. So I've got to wiggle these out a bit without breaking my. Oh, there we go. Got it. Very tight fit, which is what I want. Take that one off. So yeah, I've got to get this drill out now. It is pretty tight. That's what I want. I don't want it loose because otherwise I'll have wobble. And we don't want any of that. There we go. So next job, I've just did some remeasurements on my system, and I have to print some spacers out to go. Get my phone. I have to print some extra spacers out to go in here, to go in between these brackets, because the bracket's going to be a little bit further apart than what they are on here. And then I've got to take this end off, this whole end off, and then put all my spacers and everything on and get that set right. And then I can assemble the rotors. I don't want to put the rotors on yet because they're heavy and they pull down on my bearing shaft. So I need to get these spacers and these nuts moved. I've got these micro washers that are on the end. I don't know if you can see them, but these little perspex washers, they've got to come out. I've got to take them out because I need the extra space in the middle between the brackets. Anyway, update complete.